Carol had just turned 74 when she stood in her backyard and quietly said, "It's like everything here forgot how to smile, including me." Her garden wasn't dead, it was just forgotten. A teapot with a chipped spout, a broken chair, a box of old tins, each one holding a memory, waiting to be reborn. What happened next didn't just transform her backyard, it brought life back to her. And by the end of this video, you'll discover how these simple, meaningful projects can do the same for you, boosting your mood, easing stress, and giving you something beautiful to wake up to. Have you ever looked at something old and felt a story in it? Tell me in the comments. What item are you holding on to that might deserve a second life? Hey there, I'm Lewis, and this is Better Aging Advice. I share real stories, uplifting health tips, and creative habits to help you stay active, happy, and fulfilled at any age. So if you believe life doesn't stop at 60, hit that subscribe button and join a community of strong, inspired minds. Today's topic is powerful: how turning everyday junk into garden decor can spark joy, purpose, and creativity. And trust me, you'll want to hear what Carol did with her late husband's boots. If you love nature, color, and creativity, type "I'm in the comments. Let's bring our gardens and ourselves back to life. There's something powerful that happens when your hands are busy making something, especially when that something used to be broken or forgotten. Research shows that creative hobbies like upcycling and hands-on projects can reduce depression, improve cognitive function, and even boost physical dexterity in older adults. But honestly, what the science says just confirms what many of us already feel. There's a quiet kind of magic in creating. When Carol first started transforming her old garden items, it wasn't about being crafty. It was about reclaiming a part of herself she thought had faded. She told me, "When I work on these little projects, I don't feel invisible anymore. I feel useful. I feel like me again." That's the real gift of purposeful creation. It gives your day structure, your hands a job, and your spirit a lift. It turns what looks like junk into a source of pride, beauty, and memory. And the best part? You don't need fancy tools or artistic talent. You just need curiosity and a willingness to start. An old tin can becomes a wind chime. A broken mug becomes a succulent pot. A lonely garden corner becomes a story waiting to be told. These small acts of transformation offer more than pretty results. They give us energy, focus, and emotional relief. Every painted pot, every repurposed item becomes a small declaration that you are still growing, still creating, still alive. Have you ever felt calmer after doing something with your hands, maybe painting, fixing, or planting? Share your experience in the comments. Whether it's a quiet moment with soil under your nails or the joy of seeing something old become new again, your story might inspire someone else to start. Idea number 1, the teapot bird feeder. Carol's garden had been quiet for years. The flowers were faded and the air felt still. The same silence hung in the air as the broken teapot sat at the bottom of a box in her shed. It was chipped, outdated, and honestly, it was on its way to the trash. But then, one day, as we were talking about her garden, Carol looked at the teapot and said, "Maybe it still has something to give." That's when the idea struck. Why not turn the teapot into a bird feeder? It might have been broken, but it could still serve a beautiful purpose. We tied a strong piece of rope around the handle, hung it from a tree branch, and filled it with bird seed. Carol was skeptical at first. She wasn't sure if birds would even come. But the next morning, she peered out of her window, and there they were. Bright yellow finches, vibrant red cardinals, and tiny sparrows fluttering around, chirping and feasting. Carol's eyes widened. "It's like the garden is singing again," she said. That teapot, once destined for the trash, wasn't just feeding birds, it was feeding Carol's soul, bringing her a sense of connection to nature and life she hadn't felt in a long time. Sometimes it's easy to dismiss old things. We look at them and see only their flaws, cracks, chips, wear and tear. But those flaws tell a story. They hold memories. And when we give those items a new purpose, we're not just breathing life into objects, we're breathing life into ourselves. This simple act of upcycling Carol's teapot into a bird feeder transformed her garden, but more importantly, it transformed her mindset. It reminded her that even things past their prime have value, and so does she. It's a powerful reminder for us all that no matter our age or how we might feel, there's always room for new purpose, new growth, and new joy. The beauty of this project lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require artistic skills, expensive materials, or even a lot of time. It just requires a shift in perspective. That chipped teapot became a symbol of creativity, sustainability, and self-expression. You might be surprised by how much joy something as simple as turning an old teapot into a bird feeder can bring. Every time Carol looked out her window and saw the birds, she was reminded of how small changes can make a big impact on our happiness. Those tiny moments of nature, the flutter of wings, the sound of birdsong, were more than just decoration. They were healing. What's the oldest thing you've kept in your kitchen? Is there a teapot or mug gathering dust, a plate with a crack, or maybe a wooden spoon with a story to tell? Imagine giving it a new life. What could it become? A plant pot, a bird feeder, a unique garden sculpture. The possibilities are endless. Now think about the joy you'd feel if that forgotten item had a second chance at life. Why not try it? If you've got an old item that's collecting dust, consider this your sign to transform it into something beautiful and useful. Trust me, you'll be surprised by how much this little act of creativity can brighten not just your space, but your life. And don't forget to share your projects with me. I'd love to see what you're upcycling and how it's bringing new energy into your home or garden. Let's keep this creative journey going and inspire each other along the way. Idea number 2, the broken chair herb planter. One of Carol's favorite places to spend time was her garage. It was where she kept all her forgotten treasures, things that once had purpose, now gathering dust. One morning, as we sifted through old boxes and furniture, we came across a wooden chair. It was cracked, with a broken seat and a missing slat. It looked like it had seen better days. At first, Carol considered tossing it out, but then an idea sparked. Why not give that broken chair a second chance? Instead of letting it fade away, why not transform it into something that would bring daily joy? We decided to make it into a herb planter. We carefully removed the seat, fitted a small flower box inside the frame, and filled it with rosemary, thyme, and basil. The chair, which had once served its basic function, was now going to nurture something new, something fresh and fragrant. At first, Carol was skeptical. She wasn't sure if the herbs would thrive in such an unconventional planter, but within days, those little plants grew, bursting with life, with the rich scent of rosemary, the bright green leaves of basil, and the earthy fragrance of thyme. Every morning, Carol would wander to the chair, gently brush her fingers across the herbs, and inhale deeply. The joy was evident in her eyes. "It's like my mornings have flavor again," she said with a smile. That broken chair, which had been nothing more than a dusty relic, had now become Carol's morning ritual. It wasn't just a piece of furniture anymore. It was a source of calm, an anchor to her day, and a reminder of her own ability to create something new and beautiful. Every time she touched those herbs, she felt connected to the earth and to the simple, nourishing pleasure of life. What began as a discarded chair soon became a daily experience for Carol. She'd brush the leaves, gather them for her meals, and sometimes simply stand there, savoring the aroma. That one project changed the way she interacted with her space, and more importantly, it changed her mindset. She began to see her surroundings not as old or worn out, but as opportunities for transformation and growth. What's most powerful about this project is how accessible it is. You don't need an elaborate garden or expensive tools. Just a little creativity and a few herbs can bring new life into your daily routine. What once felt like junk became a source of joy, health, and even nourishment. If you're looking for a way to brighten your mornings, consider turning an old piece of furniture or a forgotten item into a herb planter. It's simple, it's sustainable, and most importantly, it's deeply satisfying to watch something grow from the simplest of beginnings. If you could grow one herb in your garden or kitchen, what would it be? Would it be fresh basil for your pasta, thyme for your roasted vegetables, or maybe mint for a refreshing iced tea? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what aromatic ideas you're dreaming up for your garden or kitchen. Remember, it's not about having a perfect garden. It's about finding joy in the process of creating. Each time you touch those herbs, you're reminded that no matter what life brings, there's always room to grow. And sometimes, the smallest projects bring the biggest rewards. Idea number 3, the memory ladder garden. After Carol's husband passed, his old wooden ladder sat untouched in her garage. It had been part of so many of their projects, fixing the roof, hanging lights, and building little things around the house. Each rung held a memory, a quiet moment they'd shared. But after he was gone, the ladder became a painful reminder of her loss. Carol avoided it. It sat there for months, covered in dust, until one day, she shared with me how it made her feel. It's like every step is a story of something we did together, but now it feels empty. That's when the idea struck. Why not turn that ladder into something full of life again? Something that could hold new memories while still honoring the old ones. We decided to transform it into a garden feature, a living tribute to the love and joy they had shared. We leaned the ladder against her fence and placed small pots of flowers on each step, one for each of her grandchildren. The idea was simple but deeply meaningful. Each flower would represent a child, a symbol of the new generation that carried on the love and lessons Carol's husband had passed down. It was such a small act, but when Carol saw the ladder standing tall again, with vibrant blooms on every rung, something shifted. This isn't just decor, she said, it's connection. Every time I water them, I feel like I'm still connected to him and to them. That ladder, once a symbol of loss, had been transformed into a source of ongoing connection between Carol, her late husband, and her grandchildren. Every time she tended to the flowers, each little pot reminded her of a grandchild's laugh, a memory of their visit, or a quiet moment with her husband. And the beauty of the flowers reminded her that even in the midst of loss, life continues to bloom in new ways. This idea isn't just for ladders. It's a powerful way to honor the memories and connections that mean the most to you. You don't need to have a ladder to start. Look around your home and think about the items that hold sentimental value. Maybe it's an old chair that once belonged to a loved one, a wooden box that's been passed down through generations, or a picture frame that's collected dust. These things don't need to stay hidden away. They can be transformed into something that brings life and meaning to your garden. Whether it's a memory of a spouse, a parent, or a dear friend, it's possible to incorporate those memories into something beautiful that honors their legacy, while bringing new joy and purpose to your space. Upcycling doesn't just give new life to objects. It gives us a new way of seeing the world, a way to connect the past to the present, and the present to the future. What's something in your home that holds a memory? Could it be transformed into something part of your garden's story? A treasured piece with history can live on in the beauty it helps create. Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear what special items you might repurpose to make your garden even more meaningful. If these ideas are touching something in you, keep watching. Carol's next project involved a pair of boots she thought she'd never use again. What she did with them brought tears to both of our eyes. You won't want to miss it. Idea number 4. The painted boot planters. Carol had kept her husband's old work boots by the door for over a year. They were sturdy, worn, and a symbol of his hard work, everything he had left behind. But after he passed, those boots, once filled with purpose, were now filled with silence. Carol didn't want to throw them away, but she couldn't bring herself to use them for anything. They were untouched, a quiet reminder of the life they had shared and the one she now had to continue without him. One day, as we stood by the door, Carol turned to me and said, "What if we painted them?" It was a simple question, but it carried so much weight. What if these boots, which had once walked so many miles with him, could hold something new, a symbol of the love and memories they shared, but also of healing and moving forward? We decided to paint the boots a soft sky blue, the color of a bright, clear day. Then we added delicate daisies, each one a small tribute to the beauty of life, no matter how fleeting. We set the boots by her porch, where she could see them every day. As we finished, Carol stood back and whispered, "Now he walks beside me again." It wasn't just about flowers. It was about connection. Those boots became a place where grief and love met, a space where memories weren't left behind, but cherished in a new way. The boots didn't just hold flowers, they held Carol's grief, her love, and her healing. Each time she watered the daisies, it felt like she was nurturing a part of herself that had been lost, but was still growing. Every glance at those boots was a reminder that, while the past could never be changed, the present could still be filled with meaning, growth, and new beginnings. What makes this project so powerful is its simplicity. You don't need to have a grand memorial or intricate design to honor a loved one. Sometimes it's the smallest things, the objects that once served a simple function, that hold the greatest meaning. By painting those boots, Carol found a way to incorporate her memories into her daily life, where they could continue to bring joy rather than sorrow. This isn't just for boots either. It's a powerful lesson in how we can honor our loved ones by transforming everyday objects into meaningful parts of our lives. Think about the items in your home that carry a memory, a favorite sweater, a book they loved, or a tool they used often. What if you could turn that object into something that not only honors their memory, but helps you continue moving forward? By upcycling and reimagining these objects, you're giving them new life, just as you're giving yourself a way to heal. It's about remembering that while grief is part of the journey, there's always room for growth, love, and healing. If you could memorialize a loved one in your garden, how would you do it? Think about it. How could you incorporate their spirit, their love, or their memory into a garden project that brings you peace and comfort? Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear how you might honor someone special in your own way. Idea number 5, tin can wind chimes. Carol's shed was full of forgotten treasures, things that had been tucked away for years. One afternoon, as we sorted through boxes of old items, we came across a dusty box of tin cans. They were dented and dull, clearly unused for years, but there was something about them that caught my eye. Carol looked at the cans, her face softening as she said, "I've been meaning to throw these out, but they hold memories. These were from the kitchen when we used to make soup together, but they're just taking up space now." The cans had served their purpose long ago, but now they seemed to be doing nothing more than cluttering up the shed. That's when we had an idea. What if these cans, which had once served a practical purpose, could take on a new life? What if they could become something that not only added beauty to the yard, but also brought movement, sound, and joy to Carol's day? We decided to transform the tin cans into wind chimes. The process was simple but meaningful. We painted each can in bright, vibrant colors. Carol chose shades of blue, yellow, and green, colors that reminded her of sunny days and blooming flowers. Then we punched small holes in the bottom of each can, threading them with beads, old keys, and bits of string. We strung them together, hanging them from a sturdy branch in her backyard. The first time the wind blew, we stood together and listened. The soft, musical clinking of the cans filled the air. It wasn't just a sound. It was a symphony of memories, of laughter, of cooking together, and of days spent in the warmth of each other's company. "It sounds like my memories are laughing again," Carol said, her voice filled with emotion. She wasn't just hearing the sound of wind moving through the cans. She was hearing the joy, the love, and the beauty of the past brought back to life in the present. The wind chimes didn't just decorate her yard. They brought a sense of movement and music into her life, reminding her that even the things we think are useless or forgotten can have new purpose and meaning. Every time the wind stirred, it was as though her memories were dancing, reminding her that life moves forward and there's always room for joy, even in the smallest of moments. This project is so powerful because it shows us that upcycling doesn't just change the physical object. It can change our perspective. By taking something as simple as a tin can and transforming it into something beautiful, we're reminded of the power of creativity, of breathing new life into the past, and of finding joy in the simplest things. And the best part, you don't need to have a set of identical cans or supplies. Look around your house. What forgotten items could become something beautiful and meaningful in your garden? Old buttons, spoons, seashells, or even broken jewelry. Anything can be transformed into a wind chime that adds sound, movement, and a touch of personality to your outdoor space. What would your wind chimes be made of? Do you have old buttons, spoons, or seashells lying around that could make a beautiful sound? What if you used items with sentimental value, like a piece of jewelry or a small token from a trip? Share your ideas in the comments. I'd love to hear what materials you would use to create your own personalized wind chimes. By embracing these small upcycling projects, you're not just beautifying your space, you're creating an environment that's full of life, sound, and memories. And isn't that what makes a garden truly special? This isn't about saving money or being crafty. It's about something much deeper, reclaiming parts of yourself that might have been forgotten along the way. It's about remembering that you are still capable, still creative, and still alive, no matter how many years have passed. Every project Carol made, whether it was turning a teapot into a bird feeder or a pair of boots into a garden memorial, was a reminder that there's always room for growth, always room for joy. I've seen it in Carol, and I want you to feel it too. So often we wait for perfect things to come our way, perfect materials, perfect conditions, perfect timing, but the truth is, those moments rarely come. The key is starting with what you have, no matter how old or imperfect it seems. You have the creativity, the energy, and the drive to give anything new life. Just like you're doing with your garden projects, you can breathe new life into yourself too. The process of creating, whether it's in the garden, the kitchen, or your own heart, is a constant reminder that you are never too old to make something meaningful. Which of these ideas touched your heart today? Was it the wind chimes made from old cans? Or perhaps the memory ladder with flowers for each grandchild? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And your words are the heartbeat of this community. You inspire me, and you inspire each other. If this video brought a smile to your face, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs that little spark of creativity in their life. And don't forget to subscribe. Next time, I'm sharing 5 garden plants that naturally fight inflammation and boost your energy. You won't want to miss it.